are feeling exhausted, aren't you? But listen clearly. You are not exhausted from working. You are exhausted because you have been kneeling before inferior minds. The masses, the 99%, climb through their days calling their weakness virtue and their utter lack of ambition peace. They are the ones who believe that being well-intentioned is a shield, only to be blindsided when the shadows move against them. We are not here to offer you the hollow comfort of empathy. We are here to tear away the hypocritical veil that has been suppressing your inner fortress. Understand this fundamental truth. This world is not a charity for the kind-hearted. It is a calculated architecture, designed and directed by the 1%, the psychological architects who master the battlefield of power and the intricate flow of manipulation. In this arena, there is no we. There is only the controller and the controlled. You have spent your life being the target of intentional influence, often by those who hide their teeth behind a smile. If you are ready to stop being a victim of the shadows and start commanding them, if you are ready to learn that mercy without claws is simply cowardice in disguise, then the reconstruction of your reality begins now. The throne of your life is currently empty. Will you continue to wait for permission to sit, or will you learn the mechanics of the fox and the lion to seize it? The choice is not a matter of fate, it is a matter of strategy.
You find yourself isolated, don't you? Wandering like an outlier among the masses who speak incessantly of empathy, genuine connection, and kindness. You watch them cling to each other for warmth, mistaking their collective weakness for a moral compass. Hear this. That solitude is not a system error. It is the signature of a superior mutation. It is the biological signal that you have evolved beyond the herd. While they exhaust themselves seeking a soulmate, you must realize the cold architecture of the elite. In the world of the master manipulator, there is no we. There is only the controller and the controlled. Those around you operate on emotional empathy, a vulnerability that makes them easy to bleed. But you, the future sovereign, are developing cognitive empathy. You see their fears and desires not to share them, but to map them like a general maps a battlefield. The world recoils from what it calls the dark triad: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. They label these as offensive because they are terrified of their efficiency. To the 99%, these are flaws. To the 1%, they are the inner fortress. Narcissism is your armor of grandiosity, shielding you from the opinions of the small-minded. Machiavellianism is your indifference to conventional morality, allowing for a calculated focus on self-interest. Psychopathy is the mental toughness, the callousness required to make the surgical strikes that the mediocre would never dare to execute. You are not a victim of fate. You are a psychological architect. You are learning to use the shadows not to hide, but to build. You are gathering the raw materials of power, persuasion, and deception to construct a throne that no storm can overthrow. The masses live in the world as they wish it to be. You are learning to see it as it really is, and in that vision, your reign begins.
Etch these words into your subconscious, for they are the compass for every move you will ever make in the game of power. To the masses, they sound cold. To the architect, they are the only laws that matter. 1. Kindness without claws is simply cowardice in disguise. 2. People will only fear you when they cannot predict your steps. Understand the secret analysis of the elite. The world does not judge you by your truth. It judges you by the results you achieve. Truth is a luxury of the powerless. In the arena of psychological warfare, reality is merely the flow of information that you choose to control. If you control the inputs, you dictate their actions. Explanation is the submissive act of an inferior begging for mercy. A ruler, a master of dark psychology, is often forced to act contrary to fidelity, humanity, and even religion to maintain their state. You must learn to be a great pretender and a dissembler, for men are so simple that he who seeks to deceive will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived. We are here to teach you the duality of the architect. You must learn how to avail yourself of both the beast and the man. One nature without the other is not durable. To survive and reign, you must become the fox, to identify the snares and snares set by your rivals. The lion, to terrify the wolves who believe you are prey. While the 99% operate on blind trust and genuine connection, you will operate on calculated self-interest. You will see the battlefield for what it is, a structured design where every kind word you speak is merely a hidden claw waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Prepare yourself. The revelation is over. The strategy, the actual reconstruction of your reality, begins now.
Point 1. The architecture of deception, controlling the information flow. Understand the first pillar of the sovereign mind. Deception is not merely lying, it is the absolute control of information. Humans are essentially machines designed to achieve goals by reacting to inputs. If you control the inputs, you dictate the outputs, their actions. To the 1%, the truth is a raw material to be filtered. Master the art of the dissembler. You must appear merciful, faithful, and upright, even when you are forced to act contrary to all of them to maintain your state. Always appear as a vessel of value. Position yourself as the bridge to their goals. Let them believe that by serving you, they are serving themselves. Keep your true intentions locked in your inner fortress until the terrain is captured and the victory is inevitable. Point 2. The dark triad formation, weaponizing the personality. The masses view the dark triad as a pathology. You must view it as a weapon system. While the 99% are crippled by emotional empathy, you will cultivate cognitive empathy. You must know intellectually how they feel, not to share their pain, but to use it as a map of their vulnerabilities. Use grandiosity to project an illusion of power. Charisma is your shortcut. People crave the influence of those who appear destined for achievement. Maintain a calculated focus on self-interest and long-term planning. While others react to the moment, you are architecting the decade. This is your mental toughness. It is the ability to make the surgical strike, the decision that requires a cold heart to achieve a grand result. Practice cold reading. In every first meeting, analyze the target's feet rather than their eyes. Their posture reveals their desire to escape or their readiness to submit.
Identify their secret fears and use them as the fuel for your ambition. Point 3. The fortress of fear and strategic punishment. A fundamental question of power. Is it better to be loved or feared? The answer is simple. It is much safer to be feared than loved. Love is held by a chain of gratitude, which the base nature of man breaks at every opportunity for their own profit. But fear is maintained by a dread of punishment, which never fails. Do not hesitate to be the architect of strategic punishment. If an injury must be done to a rival, it should be so severe that you need not fear their revenge. Purge the junk relationships in your life, those who offer no power, no knowledge, and no loyalty. A sovereign nation does not tolerate parasites within its borders. Why should you? Apply your severities all at once in a single, decisive stroke. This restores order to your fortress and ensures that those who remain are either too loyal to leave or too terrified to move against you.
This video is not a commodity for the masses, nor is it for those seeking the hollow validation of a like button or a subscribe notification. If you have listened until this final grain of sand has fallen, you have already crossed the threshold into the architect level. This is no longer a game of observation. This is the reconstruction of your reality. You have recognized that believing others are well-intentioned is merely a blindfold that allowed them to maintain the upper hand. You have realized that in the relationships of the elite, there is no we. There is only the sovereign and the target. Now, I require your first commitment, sworn in the silence of your inner fortress. Speak to no one of what you have learned. True power is a form of intentional influence that works best in the shadows. Once the target sees the strings, the manipulation is compromised. As you re-enter the world, perform your first act of the architect. Stop watching their eyes. Eyes are the tools of the dissembler and are easily faked. Instead, look at their feet. A person's feet will reveal the truth their voice tries to hide. If they point toward the exit, they are desperate to escape your presence. If they point directly at you, they are receptive to your architecture. Gather this data. Use it to map their vulnerabilities. The strategy is laid. The tools are in your hands, but the path requires mental toughness and the callousness to act when others hesitate. Now, when this screen turns to black, what will you be? Will you return to the herd as a pious sheep, kneeling and waiting for a benevolence that will never come? Or will you stand up, renounce your chains, and seize the empty throne of your own existence? The choice has never belonged to fate. It belongs only to the one with the will to manipulate it.